Como estas, bitches? El Crapgamer here, back with another video. Thank you guys for checking it out. So you guys remember that developer, Vufu Studios? They're the ones that kind of were talking about Mark Cerny's half floats and 8 teraflops and all this stuff with the PS4 Pro. So they're well aware of how the PS4 Pro works and things like that. They're the team behind Mantis Burn Racing. They've done a lot of different interviews and things like that and discussed this tech. And they actually did this interview, and I will link this in the description so you guys can check it out. And it's a really interesting interview because they were talking about it. They were talking about how the game runs native 4K 60 frames per second on the PS4 Pro, and they were curious about the technical enhancements they're planning for the Xbox One X console. And so this is what they had to say about it. Yeah, it's a pretty cool piece of kit. It's substantially more powerful than the PS4 Pro. But the downside is that it comes with a price point to match. Whether that'll put consumers off, we'll have to wait and see. But this really is the most powerful games console on the planet. Microsoft are really throwing a lot more into the dev kit itself too. Really going that extra step to make development a breeze, which is great to see. We did have to drop a few minor things on the PS4 Pro, such as some of the particle effect details and lower precision shading, which actually is not really noticeable. But we can go the other way on Xbox One X, adding extra detail. We really already scaled both ways for a range of hardware specs on PC, so it's relatively straightforward for us to take that over to console too. As an added extra, we're throwing in some anti-aliasing on Xbox One X at 4K. We had to drop this on the PS4 Pro. We were happy to do that because with pixels so small, a bit of aliasing isn't a problem, but when we can do it, it adds a whole extra layer of the crispness to the clarity of the image. It's still early days yet, so we're looking at other areas we're able to jump off on too. We have some interesting options here, but I don't want to promise anything specific yet. So as you can see, they're saying that it's substantially more powerful than the PS4 Pro, and that they're able to do a lot more with it. So that should give you a good indication. And I know this is just a small kind of over-the-top racing game, but the detail in the game is actually pretty good if you've ever played it. And it's interesting because these devs aren't no chumps either. They've been around for 10 years, and so I think they know their hardware, and so they're calling it hands down like the easiest console to develop for, as well as just a beast of a console, the most powerful console ever. So I think that speaks exactly to what Microsoft was talking about when they decided to come out with this console, and that's what people need to focus on. We can't allow for developers to kind of shit the bed where it comes to the development process, right? So a good example of this will be Destiny 2, right? That is scalable on the PS4 Pro, and I guess can do 4K at points or whatever. It's whatever, but that would mean that, like Digital Foundry says, they would expect them to go for the native 4K on the Xbox One X, or if they do the same kind of scalable approach, they would expect the better detail with the polygons and things like that, with the assets, because the assets on the PS4 Pro version aren't that great. So you have to keep that in mind as well. And going forward, I think that any developer that really wants people to take notice of their games or buy their games will just have to code for these things individually, which shouldn't be that hard since they're already doing that kind of for the PC, and there's different ways that PCs can run these games. That's just how these consoles are going to be from now on. I would expect fully that we're going to get consoles and then a half step every 4 years. So that's just something that's going to be going forward. I just don't expect people to sit around and want to stick with one piece of hardware for 8 years anymore and be okay with that. So again, these are options. Some people might be okay with that, or some people jump into the console generations late. Like somebody might have just bought an Xbox One S last year and they don't want to upgrade yet, and that's perfectly fine because the games are still going to be good on the S as well. So this is something to look forward to as well. Once again, I will link this in the description so you guys can check that out. Let me know what you think. Sound off in the comment section, rate, comment, subscribe, and that would help out my channel tremendously, and I'd appreciate it. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.